Hi, my name is Leah Cross. I'm a national educator for John Paul Mitchell Systems. I'm happy to share with you today one of the new cuts from the new Liquid Motion collection. This particular cut is done by Takashi. Takashi really loves to put some edge and character into his haircuts. I find he likes to do a lot of texturizing, and he's definitely big on dry cutting. So this cut is very fun for me. There's a lot of little particular things that you can do to really create a specific cut for your client that's very unique to their hairline, their hair type, and texture. So I think you'll have fun with this haircut by Takashi. This haircut is called the Camia haircut, and I'm going to begin by sectioning her for you. This is a little bit of a unique sectioning. This features a disconnected piece in this haircut. So to begin, I'm going to section out that first disconnection. So right from the front hairline on the right side, I'm going to take and do a diagonal parting to the left of the corner of the crown, basically. This is a bit of a rectangular section, and it's up to you how big or small you want this rectangle. I'm doing mine about 1 inch wide, and then I'm going to twist this up and I'm going to clip this out of the way. So if you want a nice little visual, I'm going to pop her head off and you can see that nice triangle on the top section. Now from here, I'm going to simply take the remaining hair that's from the parietal ridge up, and I'm going to clip this away. So now I have a left side of my top section on the left side of my disconnection, and I also, of course, am going to have a right side. So taking that up again, what's left remaining in the parietal ridge and above, and clipping that out of the way. So I now have 3 sections on the top of the head. Okay, so I'm going to begin this haircut on the left side of my mannequin's head. My first section, just to divide this up, because I'm going to change up my cutting direction and my hand position a little bit when I get to the back of the ear. So I'm actually going to take a diagonal forward section and kind of clip that back and out of the way. Okay. This cut has a lot of fun texture. As you can see in my pre-done mannequin here, she is very fun, very edgy. She's got this beautiful little section here that just pops right out, and her color is gorgeous. This is going to be a razor haircut, so pull out your razors and have some fun. If you're not someone who's used to using your razor, this is a great time to start. I think you'll have fun playing around with this. Okay, so taking vertical diagonal forward sections right in the front hairline here, and taking your razor, and from top to bottom we're just going to take and just chisel that right out a little bit. And I'm going to continue in this way in the whole front section of this haircut. So pulling this out, doing this so you can see, coming right from the top and moving right down to right above the ear. Now my mannequin, she likes to pop up a little bit, but on a human head this actually lays really nice along the hairline, and I think you'll be able to see that. You can think about people's hairlines as you cut them. They're a little bit finer in this section, so a razor I find actually gives a little more motion. That's part of our Liquid Motion collection, giving her some texture in that front. I love using the razor too for particularly this part of the head, again for that motion and that separation, and I can really add a lot of texture in here. I like to use product for texture, but sometimes starting it with that haircut is a great way to get in there. Now with a razor it does feel a little more freehand when you're doing these types of cuts, so don't be terribly 100% concerned with what's right around the ear. Like I said, Takashi likes to do a lot of dry cutting and texturizing, so we're going to go back in and we are going to touch that up. Now moving to the back section of the head, you can see this shape starting to form already. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do a diagonal back section this time. So we did a diagonal forward in the front section. I'm going to clip this longer hair up and out of my way, and kind of taking a little hint from that front section, I'm going to come in here, doing this so you can see. I'm going to come in with my razor and create that really nice sharp angle around the hairline. So I'm going to continue to move in a diagonal back section, my finger angle and my cutting angle mirroring my sectioning, and working through the top of the head. Now another key point for this back section of the head is that I'm going to elevate this basically just by directing back to the previous section. This is a little bit of a shorter haircut. Gives her some nice fun, a little bit of a pixie type haircut. So the razor's really going to help keep it feminine and soft and give a lot of motion and movement. You can do this, of course, with a scissor. I find that I struggle a little more to not make it look so boxy like a clipper cut when I use my scissors, unless I'm point cutting, of course. But I just have to take a little extra care and a little extra work in doing that. Okay, so as I'm coming towards the back center, I really am directing back to the previous section, and as I get towards this center piece, I'm going to go up to the center and then one section beyond. So as I go through this haircut, when I come around from the other side, this is going to help me really blend all of this beautiful hair cutting. Okay, so that is the back section, and I'm going to move around here to the right side of the head. Now on the right side of the head, we're going to do the same thing that we did on the left. So again, taking this sectioning diagonal forward and clipping that out of the way. And then again, using a vertical diagonal forward around the hairline, bringing this out and really giving that nice texture around the face. I don't have a ton of clients that go from really long to short, so I do find that the razor is just fine working on a shorter length and changing it up. But if you do have that client that's going from a little bit of a longer length to shorter, this is definitely going to be a super fun haircut for them. Okay, so you can see I'm still moving in that diagonal forward direction. And now that I'm to the back of the ear, this is my last section. And you can see that's just really shaping up nice. Okay, so moving to the back. Again, mirroring the left side of the head, I'm going to go and do a diagonal back sectioning now. So on my hand and body position is going to change a little bit. Not so much for me in this video, but when you're actually cutting this, of course on the left side you're going to be more in this direction, on the right you're going to be in this direction. So with your razor, I do find it's a little easier to get in and around there because you can really be a little more freeform. But just remembering that you're trying to keep that same tension so that your cutting lines are the same from the left side to the right. All right, diagonal back. And now what are we going to do? We are going to over direct back to the previous section as we move up the shape of the head here. Make sure you have a nice sharp razor for this too. You really don't want to be pulling your client's hair. And with a dull razor, you tend to get more of those splits and flyaways, so you really don't want to see that. You don't want to create more damage in the hair. All right, so remember on the opposite side, we kind of went and crisscrossed over the center back. And so this is the point where that really is coming in handy. I can really see what I've done on the left side of the head, and now I can match it up and make sure that I crisscross back over that as well. Okay, so that's really coming together. Now, if you miss a few little hairs like I did, that's okay. You can trim those up. That's what the beauty of your razor is. But trying to take those nice clean sections with your razor at first is important. And then, of course, we're going to do a little dry cutting afterwards to clean up that hairline and really refine it. Okay, so that is the left and right side of this Camia haircut. Now I'm going to begin the top section on the right side. This side has a little bit less hair, just because we did a little bit more of an angle there. So I'm going to turn her. I think you'll be able to see her better if I do it this way. So these are going to be diagonal forward sections, okay? Starting in the crown, we're going to go diagonal forward, and I'm going to change my angle of my razor. Before I was kind of coming in a downward position. Now I'm going to come much more flat on the hair. So more like this, and that's going to give me a softer edge. So as I work across this top of the head, you're going to see I did a diagonal forward, but I'm kind of pivoting as I work towards the front. I'm going to go more like this. That's going to preserve some of this length. It's also going to give her quite a bit of swing, which is fabulous. And you can see I'm ending up, so this becomes just a hair longer in the front. Okay? That really helps this all to blend in too. So you've got a little bit shorter here, a little longer here. Now working on the left side of the head, we're going to work in a similar manner. Got a little bit more hair on this side, but we're still going to create those little bit of pie piece sections. Working in a diagonal forward, so now I'm moving this way. This went towards the face. And if you get confused like I used to when I was first cutting hair, I was like, what's diagonal forward? What's diagonal back? I was always trying to figure that out. And you know, when I was reading the description of a haircut, it didn't really make sense to me because I'm a very visual person. But basically, if you're moving your comb forward towards the base, that's diagonal forward. If you're moving it from hairline or top or front towards the back of the head, that's diagonal back. So I hope that helps out a little bit. Again, we are moving this, kind of pivoting this, so we've got diagonal forward, working in this manner towards the front of the head. And again, keeping your razor sort of in a flat motion on the hair. Coming right to the front section. And as you get closer to the front hairline, this section really becomes more of a stationary guide. So it was a little bit of a traveling guide at first, and now it's more of a stationary guideline. Okay, so you can see that length really starting to happen in the front there. Okay. And that is the basic gist of the wet portion of our Camia haircut. We're going to take this down, and that disconnection is just going to be part of her beautiful character and texture that this haircut has. Now, she was quite long to begin with, so she's got quite a bit of extra length here, but I kind of like that. I think it's kind of fun. So you can decide how much of that disconnection you really want to have. I think actually I might trim her a little bit. Just a little. We want her to be pretty disconnected. I think it's really a nice touch to this haircut. However, you know, you want it to be manageable and look like it's intentional and part of the haircut. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do just a quick flat wrap on her, and then we're going to do a little bit of dry cutting to finish and refine. So when you're flat wrapping, you really want to use the contour of the head to really create that shape. Particularly in the front hairline, especially on my mannequin, you're going to see me come really close to that front hairline, and that's because it really pops out a lot. So anywhere there's a cowlick or anything like that, we want her to be very nice and flat and smooth, much like my pre-done mannequin here. We really want it to hug the head and show off that beautiful shape. So when I flat wrap, my nozzle sits on the head, not this way, so I don't burn her, but moving always in this direction, like trucking trailer, really following my 413 sculpting brush, and right around the hairline, getting that nice and tight right around the hairline. And moving back and forward, this is going to dry both sides of the hair, but really keeping that nice and smooth You want to